Good morning, guys. This is Connor Buckley, and this is the 45th episode of the Anxiety and Depression Vlogs. And today we're going to talk about celebrating the small victories within the big challenges that you face throughout life. Recently, I've had a couple friends come and confide in me about their struggles and what they're going through, and to be honest, I've had a couple friends who are dealing with alcohol abuse, drug abuse, self-loathing, and I've had a lot of friends just tell me so many negative things about themselves, and it breaks my heart because, yeah, it's one thing to be down on yourself, because I do it too. We're all human. We all probably at one point or another tell ourselves that we're not good enough, we're not worth it, we're not loved, we shouldn't be valued. And it's a sad thought that most of us in life think that way most of the time, or more of the time than we do actually lifting ourselves up. And that can really take a toll, especially if you're someone with anxiety or depression. Recently, my friend came to me and basically told me about the things that she's been struggling with, and it has a lot to do with her own issues, family issues, and personal issues. And she was just telling me all this negative stuff about herself, or what she thinks about herself, and she wasn't giving herself enough credit for the small victories that she's been overcoming throughout this big challenge in her life. And I think when I pointed it out to her, I was like, you know what, you're doing a lot of things. You're already getting help, you're already talking to the right people, you're studying the right things, you're researching the right things, you're taking the daily vitamins, you're watching the anxiety and depression vlogs, you're reading the books that you can, you're getting all the knowledge you can to get better. And even though you don't think that you're getting better, you are mentally. And just because you don't see a difference in your overall life in just a few weeks or a few months doesn't mean that you're not progressing and getting better. In fact, you're making a bigger leap than you think. And I think it just takes the right person to tell you that, hey, here's a small victory that you overcame. Good job. Let's go out and celebrate. So what I did with my friend was, after she told me, about her family stuff that she was going through and her personal issues, I said, you know what? Well, have you ever celebrated these 5 days of sobriety? Or have you celebrated this couple weeks without any fights within your family? And she said no. And I said, why not? And she goes, because it's only been 5 days. And I think that's the problem, where she says it's only been 5 days. Well, guess what? Even if it's just a day is an accomplishment. One day is an accomplishment if you go without something that was holding you back from your true potential. So if, let's say, you're an alcoholic, or you're a drug abuser, or anything of that realm, anything that you're doing to put yourself down and not give you the best advantage to become the best person that you can be, if you're not celebrating those small victories, that victory in a year, a couple years, is going to seem so far out that it's going to make you lose motivation in the end before you even get to that point. So I think when you want to celebrate something about getting better within, if you want to celebrate something, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, give yourself credit for those tiny victories. Give yourself credit for the 1 day without alcohol. Give yourself credit for the week without fighting with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your family members. Give yourself credit for 2 weeks without doing pot, or whatever the case may be. Give yourself credit and boost yourself up and celebrate the accomplishment that you've already gotten through, because your mind subconsciously needs to hear that. And when your mind hears that, and when you give yourself credit in your heart, when you give yourself credit, your emotions and your body releases a hit of dopamine, and that hit of dopamine is just the same thing as when you work out. After a good workout, when you feel good, your body releases dopamine and it makes you feel good. It's the feel-good drug. And when you give yourself compliments and you tell yourself motivating things and inspiring yourself through self-talk and self-worth, you start to see a difference mentally. And when you're in the right mental frame, your physical frame is going to take over. And so if you're in the right mental frame, you're going to do things and put yourself in a position to get yourself better, not only mentally, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And then you're going to see all areas of your life grow. And like I said, it's not going to happen over 1 day, 2 days, a week, months. You know, it could take years, but that's the beauty of life, and that's the beauty of getting better each and every year. But you can't wait too long to reward yourself for the small victories that you've overcome. So just don't forget to celebrate yourself, celebrate the small accomplishments, and celebrate. You know, if it's your 1 day without alcohol, if it's your 2 weeks without fighting with a boyfriend, girlfriend, if it's anything like that, celebrate it. Go out with friends and say, hey, this is a day about me and I'm celebrating this accomplishment or that accomplishment. And you will see internally, you will see that it makes a huge difference. I promise you, because for years I was the one to tell myself that I wasn't worth it, I wasn't loved, I'm not valued, and those things brought me down so bad emotionally that when I tried to give myself credit for anything, I just ignored it, because I was already so far into those negative thoughts and those negative emotions. So before you get to the point where I was in, I want you to realize that you can celebrate yourself, you can celebrate the small victories, and you can celebrate the small wins. And that's what you should do, because you deserve it and you got to give yourself credit. So for you guys watching this, if you like this video, please leave us a thumbs up and subscribe down below to see our latest videos.